and I'm checking and I'm screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm checking and I'm screaming and I'm eating a few combos.
What kind?
Cheese-filled combos.
Well, like the pretzel ones or
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a combo aficionado.
Yeah, they're not the pretzel ones. Those are the better ones, I think, right there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You're just stuffing random combos in your mouth without even knowing their source.
I'm not a combo guy.
Amateur hour here.
I'm not a combo guy. I mean, there's not to say that I'm not a complete connoisseur of gas station treats, but normally we're talking Hostess, we're talking Ring Dings, we're talking zebra cakes.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck all that stuff.
Chocolate donettes, man. Oh, man.
Nah.
The only combos I'm really familiar with are the combos I string together with my excellent Gankata moves.
Wow.
Just a straight 5. I'm not going to get into it again.
Have we talked about this? Sounds familiar.
Yes,
No, never once has it ever been brought up on the show.
It's well trodden ground. I was talking about this the other day with Carrie. We're like, because at least I'll speak for myself. I'm certainly getting a little tired of some of the social dynamics and stuff on Twitter and the weird responses you get. And there was like a string of jokes that I made a while back about being proficient in Gankata and like fighting dinosaurs and all kinds of just, I don't know, ridiculous shit that I in my mind I thought like, here's some, non-offensive like jokes that aren't aimed at anybody in particular that are obviously just ridiculous and silly, and still nonetheless they managed to provoke weird arguments in replies of people like saying, well actually in order to blah blah blah, like if you were really gonna fight, like who gives a shit? There's such a weird negative energy out there, man, and obviously it's heightened by everybody being cooped up inside and just like kind of circling the drain constantly of like yelling at each other, but it's not for me.
Oh, people are going crazy on Twitter. People are acting out, man.
I haven't been in it as much. I just haven't been in it quite a lot. But I mean, just from the fact of like the weird accounts following you guys.
That is the strangest fucking thing, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, for context, like Chris, you've gained an additional like 2,000 followers in like 3 days.
Yeah,
I'm almost up to 2,000 too. Most of them are following both me and Chris.
To the listener. Yeah, so like over the past couple of days, it's not just Shane and I. It's a couple other people that it's happening to as well. But like and it's odd because I haven't been online much lately. I haven't been posting much. But I noticed every time I would look at my Twitter account that I was getting just massive numbers of followers, which I found very odd because like I said, I haven't really been posting. And then when I took a closer look at them, they're all they're almost all accounts with like Arabic language, or a lot of them are look like they're from Africa. A lot of them look Indian or Pakistani, and like most of them they haven't they haven't tweeted at all, or if they have tweeted at all, it's been like months ago or years ago even, and like it's just weird. Like they all appear to be bot accounts or some kind of like the kind of account that DMs you trying to fucking like sell you Bitcoin or tries to scam you in some way. But it's just like I'm being followed by, I mean, my God, it's got to be 2,500 by this point. Yeah.
We got added to a group DM by
we
one of them today,
we both
me
did.
and Chris.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah.
I'm missing out on all this shit.
We got added to a group DM, and it's just like
it's just a picture of a guy.
Posted a selfie of himself, but all the other people in the DM are like blue checks from India.
Yeah. No, it's so funny because like, we got added to this group DM, and like the only thing, like the opening, message in there was just a picture of this dude who's like a middle-aged, rather hefty man, like sitting in the chair, and like he's got
an amazing picture.
He's like balding, but he's got a ponytail.
Yeah.
It's so good, and because you can see like he's got a mirror. It looks like maybe it's like a barber shop or something. I'm not sure because you can see there's a mirror behind him, and so you can see like he's got this long luscious ponytail, but he's also balding. Very strange, very very strange.
That's why we need more people to sign up for the Patreon so we can go do a live show in Goa with this dude.
Clearly, that's where our reach is just hitting. The Indian Ocean demographic, like all the countries that border the Indian
I've always
Ocean.
wanted to go to India. You kidding? After all this shit calms down and we're not going to just like die from pathogens on our way there, I would love to.
I'm down. I'm down. But I was looking at like a lot of those strange accounts that are following me. Like I've been like looking at every once in a while I'll take a look at a couple of them and like man, like some of the ones from like Nigeria and stuff. Like I'm like, man, these people, like this guy looks really cool. Like I really wish that this guy. I wish this was actually a person who was following me, because this like random Nigerian guy looks really fucking cool. But I wish they'd put up or shut up, man. I mean, start DMing me, start trying to scam me somehow. Like I don't. What's the point?
No, I was just gonna say I've been hesitating to talk about this on the show because it's pretty incendiary, and maybe we'll cut this or whatever. But like I know that there was like a Vice documentary from God knows what, I don't know, like 2008 or something like that included. They were talking about like the cannibal warlords from Liberia, and they were talking about this gentleman named General Butt Naked.
Oh yeah, I know all about him.
I know, and I think I don't remember if we did this, Chris, last time you were in the city, we were hanging out or something like that, and we brought it up. But I just on a lark back then when I was on Facebook, I found out the General Butt Naked's real name because part of like the documentary was that he had kind of like a redemption story, which for the record I think
didn't you speak with him?
Yeah.
I do remember you telling me this.
So I sent him a Facebook message.
Right.
And he responded, and he was like super, amiable and was really nice, and he was just like, hey, we should get in touch. Here's my number. If I recall correctly, no, fuck it. I've got the numbers still to this day. I have got the numbers in my contacts.
Do you have him saved as General Butt Naked?
No, his name is Joshua Milton Bly. So he gave me his numbers, if I'm not mistaken, in Liberia, Ghana, and Nigeria, because there's +231, +233, and +234. And in fact, fuck it, I'll call him right now. Because I don't think these numbers work anymore.
Our guest this week.
Hang on, let's see what we got.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Oh, that's a shame.
We're just strangers in the night. I guess that's it for us. Anyway, yeah, so every once in a while when I have a few flagons of ale, I might try those numbers again. One day I hope he picks up. I don't remember if we ever spoke on the phone, but I mean, for the record, for anybody that's unfamiliar, like he had child soldiers run into battle naked, and if I recall correctly, the lore was that he would they would imagine themselves to be invisible because of their lack of armor and stuff like that. I guess they were just running in with guns or something. There was some cannibalism. There was some eating of hearts, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's impossibly grotesque shit.
Yeah, some wild, vicious stuff. But like, yeah, he has had some sort of redemption story, right? He's what is he, a preacher now? He's had some sort of religious conversion.
Yeah,
or something?
I mean, to me, it's it's a grift or whatever. It's just like hey, I see an opportunity to redeem myself and not be stand trial at the Hague.
I don't know if there's redemption coming back from a child army leader.
For me, it would be an uphill battle.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and definitively say no. I'm gonna say you can't.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
think
one
you
of
can
those
come back
things
from that.
when you cross that line, it's just you're just bad.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, it's probably at least to some degree opportunistic and a way to perhaps get away with it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think there was some UK politician that was talking about like Tony Blair and his role in the Iraq War. And he was just like, said something along the lines of like, Tony Blair was butting his nose into something. He was kind of coming out of retirement to say something. And he was like, I think he should spend his retirement in quiet contemplation. That was a fucked up bad accent. I don't know why I even did that.
It was fine, man.
Was it? I don't know. It wasn't as posh as I wanted it to be. Some public school boy. Oh, fuck. I don't know why I try to do these UK accents anymore.
I don't even try to do accents, man.
Let's move on. Move on.
Let's move on to the Boris Johnson death watch.
I have been keeping my Twitter followers abreast of the information that I receive. Yeah. I am sharing it entirely informationally.
Sure.
I was not at all having any angle. I was just sharing the information that he wasn't doing particularly well. Mm-hmm. And I will continue to update the followers of Rhinoceros as such.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. So, I mean, like, for instance, like when I see any kind of tweet about, like, any kind of update on his condition, like yesterday when they said that he had moved to ICU or that he was on a ventilator or something, yeah, like same for me. Like when I reply to something like that with the GIF of Jack Nicholson from Anger Management, like doing the nod thing, that's there's no implication to that. That's just strictly me, reacting in an unbiased way, and
just acknowledging the existence of the information.
Just acknowledging, appreciating the update. Just thank you for this update.
Yep. We'd like to thank the BBC service for importing this information to us, and may we wish him a time that passes.
It's funny because when I did that yesterday, I had like a bunch of like British people like mad at me, like calling me a nonce and stuff.
Yeah.
You fucking nonce.
There was a lot. Carrie had a really excellent one when he first tested positive, where she said, like, breaking news, Boris Johnson has tested positive for being a big, fat, dumb bitch. And like, it got like, it went like semi-viral or whatever, and so it got the attention of all the like right-wing fucking British dudes, and they all had these names like, like Malcolm Foppington the Third, and like, Dodgy Elliot, and like
just disqualified.
Yeah, just like,
disqualified for that name names
alone. And there was a bunch of them that were like, I'm gonna send this tweet to your employer. So then I, of course, hopped in and I said, I'm her manager. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I've given her a raise and a promotion within our organization.
Real talk. Boris Johnson is like Trump, a burgeoning fascist. In fairness, like a lot of the kind of like mainline Tory policies don't differ terribly from like mainline Democratic Party positions, which is insane because, the United States is to the right politically or at least the government is, of the UK. But Boris Johnson is a dangerous man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, he's a psychotic racist. And again, I wish for time to pass during this time of him spending time in the predicament that he's in.
What's interesting that I've been seeing stuff about that I never knew. Apparently, there's no like contingency plan. Like, they don't know what happens if the prime minister dies or is incapacitated. Like, they just have nothing. They just have nothing set up. They don't. You know what I'm saying?
And they've been an empire for how many fucking centuries?
Sure.
Yeah.
And they had this never happened. This never came up.
I thought they did. I thought it was like in Westminster, whatever, on the royal grounds. They have like like a goose paddock, and they'll go out and they'll find the fanciest goose, and then that goose becomes prime minister until death of Great Britain.
All right, now Gareth, it's your time. You're gonna have to go. You gotta go to number 10. I just imagined the goose is named Gareth.
Yeah. Goosey Gareth.
You got the goose Gareth.
Trying to privatise the NHS.
Gareth Pederasty the Fourth. It's a good proper British name.
Get Gareth. He's going to go into number 10. He's going to go in, sort out his whole cabinet, and get it all sorted.
You know what I've been thinking a lot about? Because the Queen did that speech, that statement or whatever the other night, and like she is such a. I mean, she's been the Queen of England since what, like 1952 or like something. Just absurd.
I don't think you're wrong. Maybe 53.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But like she is such a like she's the last British monarch that anybody's going to give a shit about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like after she dies, nobody's gonna, like, because she's just so old, and she's just such a, like, a link to, an era when, I guess the British royal family meant something more, you know what I'm saying? She's just a link to this bygone era when it actually, was somewhat important or whatever. But yeah, I feel like after she dies, just like no one's gonna give a shit anymore. As they shouldn't. I mean, what an absurd institution to still fucking exist.
Can you imagine turning to fucking Prince? What the fuck? Who's the inbred one? I mean, they're all inbred. Well, who's
Charles?
What's the one?
Charles is the heir, right?
Charles.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, can you imagine when he's the fucking king of England? Like, who's gonna give a shit?
Nightmare. Absolutely. How did she turn? She goes on camera and she says, blah, blah, blah. We wish the best and we would love to do more and blah, blah, blah. And then turns around and goes back into her billions and her many castles and is just like, wish I could do more.
Sounds like we got another episode ahead of us, hey, fellas.
I don't think we've done no monarchies. We've done no royal people.
I have been dying to do the fucking British royal family.
Oh, shit.
And I will die before
That's
they
not
let
a bad
me
idea.
do it.
Yeah, we should do that. We should analyze them from like a Larouchian standpoint.
Using the science of Lyndon LaRouche,
Yeah.
we will emphatically prove once and for all that the Queen of England was personally involved in heroin smuggling during the 1960s and 70s. Yeah.
Cut to the intro to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it says the gang gets Princess Diana'd. Oh no, I feel so bad to say that.
Nah, it's fine.
Oh God.
I'm spinning my Roger Stone on the desk right now. I'm playing with it. It's very comforting.
Getting some power from that one.
Roger Stone.
I obviously, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to distract myself from like what is looking like is becoming a burgeoning depression.
What do you mean, like what do you mean, like an economic depression, or do you mean like on a personal?
Yeah, sorry, no, I am not personally at this moment depressed, but I was talking about an economic depression. Sure. But like, I was thinking about it today, like this morning. I was like, what the fuck is a country worth if there are two enormous economic depressions within 100 years in a country? What the fuck is a country worth if there's two economic depressions within 100 years? How do you fucking square that circle? How do you say that the country is strong when a third of its country, I mean, at least it was the case in the Great Depression, where like 30% of the country was unemployed.
I mean, that's what they're estimating is ahead of us, ahead for us. I think that the peak, I don't think it was quite 30% during the Great Depression. I think that the peak was like maybe 25 or 26% or something like that.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw a statistic this morning that said 1/3 of young people have been laid off since this started.
Right, yeah, they're estimating, I think, 30% unemployment.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, people have reached out to me that have said that they have been laid off and they're trying for unemployment. They've said how fucked up it is to try to apply for unemployment because of how the website keeps crashing, or they say call it in and then you're on hold for an hour and it hangs up and shit. What the fuck? If you're trying to measure a country, how can we even say we're worth our fucking salt if we can't even take care of basic necessities?
I mean, it's, to what you just said, Dwight, about like the repetition of, within a relatively short span of time. Like, this is one of the things, I think we might have touched on this when we did the episode on the Gilded Age guys, but like in the late 19th century, during the moment of ascendancy of industrial capitalism in the United States and, around the world as it became the dominant organizing force of production and social life, there was a fucking boom-bust cycle in the United States alone every 2 to 3 years.
Sure.
Where you would have a huge crash, and then, tons of people would be laid off, industries would entirely fall apart, and then you'd have then followed by another huge boom, which usually was in part then the acquisition and the growth of these giant monopolies. And it was those conditions that in part led to the, the early labor movement and the socialist movement, like, taking hold. And eventually the thing that resolved that was a short-lived quasi-socialist revolution in the United States, which is rarely talked about. It was crushed then brutally by the federal government and the agents of the companies. And then eventually still, as after that, even though all these new repressive measures and things had to be introduced, there was a period of reform, which then ultimately culminated post-Great Depression with like the New Deal. But you still had like the progressive movement, the early 20th century progressive movement, and like the antitrust groups and stuff. And so that was when all of these kind of compromises were made with capital between the state and capital interests. And that led to then the era of, that's hitherto unknown in human history, of like greatest prosperity ever, right? In that post-war period, because of all of those compromises that were made and those kind of quasi-social democratic, programs and stuff. And then in the 70s, they just fucking decided, mid-70s, they decided to just rip it all apart.
Yeah, fuck it.
They just tore it all apart. And then, of course, in the 80s, you had entire, deregulation and stuff. And then that has led us to the point we're at now. And I mean, the only reason I bring this up again, in terms of arguing against the free market fundamentalist people who say shit like, we've never had a truly free market. It's like, yeah, we did before there were any rules or laws. That was a totally free market, more or less, by any of the standards of today. And as the result of it, you had like children turning giant wheels underground to like make bread, and you had a fucking boom bust cycle that happened every 20 minutes. You lose your fucking job and go. And that was the reality of what it looked like in a capitalism unchained kind of scenario. And then, of course, you could also make the argument that then also in part led to the fucking world wars, that system. So in terms of, returning to that, as it seems we're going to, there's going to be some fun stuff. Keep an eye on the geopolitical situation, people. That's all I'm going to say.
Can you imagine? I mean, and to that point too, if I'm not mistaken, in the presidential election of 1924, one of the highest ever third-party percentage of votes came in for a socialist, which was like 17% of the vote around Robert La Follette. I mean, if you even contrast that to like Ralph Nader's run in 2000, where he got like 2 3/4 or 3% of the vote, something like that.
Perot did quite well.
Yeah,
in
Perot
'92.
did well too. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was on stage with the other two candidates in the debates. That's how far ahead.
I mean,
he was.
he's probably the main reason Clinton won.
Ugh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I think. I mean, he had to have gotten at least 15%, right?
Hang on. On election day, Perot finished in third place behind Clinton, the winner, and Bush. Perot received 20 million votes, which accounted for 19% of the popular vote.
Yeah,
Look at the guy. He was an unlikable fucking oil billionaire, dude. Are you kidding?
Probably my earliest memory of anything politics related, perhaps one of my earliest memories ever. It was in 1992. I would have been 5 years old. And I remember riding the school bus and like on the way home from school. And I remember the school bus driver like getting us all going in a Ross Perot.
God.
Yeah, on the elementary school bus.
Oh my god.
It's just what a bizarre thing in retrospect, like to imagine that, but yeah, very distinct memory of that happening.
I wonder what kind of voter that bus driver is today. Like, Ron Paul?
Almost certainly all on board the Trump train.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know, boys. I'm just, I'm trying not to think about it, but like, obviously we're all consumed with fucking COVID and stuff like that, but it is obfuscating what is happening in the background for those that, may be, untouched by it or inured to it, which is a fucking burgeoning economic depression. I literally, I can't believe the prescience of like what we're talking about for this. Like, this has got to be bad for our mental health because we've been screaming about this shit for like almost a year, and now here it is all coming to fruition. I would like to get off this train, please. I would like to just relax for a little bit. What the fuck?
I don't know. This is totally unrelated to anything. But I was reading about something pretty interesting the other day. Have you ever heard of the Shane? You're almost certainly familiar with this. You ever heard of like the Astor Place riots, like the Shakespeare riots in 1849 in New York City?
I've never heard of that.
It's very interesting. It's something I'd never even heard about. It was in 1849, and it was sort of a result. It was like very very class-based, but it was basically the result of this rivalry between two Shakespearean actors. One who was one who was British, guy named Macready, who was the favorite of obviously the English, but he would come and he would tour the United States and he would do perform Shakespeare plays in the United States, and he was the favorite actor of like the Anglophile, like the upper class and the wealthy, and then his rival was a guy named Forrest, who was like the American, like he got his start in New York City in the theaters and the Bowery, because like at the time like the theaters were very like stratified by class. Like you had like your wealthy 1% theaters where it was mostly opera and stuff like that, and then you had like your popular, like your populist, like working class, the immigrant theaters and stuff like that, and that's where this American guy Forrest got his start. And they had this like big rivalry, and like it ended up where like all these people like turned out to I guess like make their voices heard, and like the guy Macready, the British guy, he was performing at this theater in New York City, and all like I think it was like 10,000 people like turned out to like I guess try to like run him out of town or something like that, or like to show their disapproval of him or something, and the police like fired on the mob, and I think it was quite a few, maybe 29, 39 people were killed or something like that. But
wow.
Yeah, I was reading. In fact, I just pulled it up right now. I was reading a little bit about it. And this is from the Wikipedia page. The city's elite were unanimous in the praise of the authorities for taking a hard line against the rioters. Publisher James Watson Webb wrote, this is in quotes, "The promptness of the authorities in calling out the armed forces and the unwavering steadiness with which the citizens obeyed the order to fire on the assembled mob was an excellent advertisement to the capitalists of the old world that they might send their property to New York and rely upon the certainty that it would be safe from the clutches of red republicanism or Chartists or communists of any description."
Oh my fucking God, dude.
Right? Oh, and in reading about this, there's a very interesting term I'd never heard before. It's called the Uppertons. Shane, are you familiar with this? This is like exactly the same concept of like when we talk about, nowadays, like the 1%, the 99%. Like the Uppertons was a phrase coined in the 1840s to refer to the 10,000 wealthiest residents of New York City. Those were the Uppertons.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Sure.
I mean, people that were still like throwing their excrement out onto the street. I mean, to be clear.
Oh, sure.
Wow. That is fucking fascinating, Chris.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I'd never heard of it before, and like it's like you tend to see that like a lot, like you don't hear about that type of stuff in like popular your typical history classes or really anything like especially the same way like so much of the early 20th century labor movement is sort of glossed over in any sort of history class. Right. Like these type of events, like these like sort of revolutionary acts or these violent class struggle type events. They don't typically talk about those. They typically try to forget those, pretend those didn't happen. Less people, because like when you read something like this, like especially like that phrase really struck me. The Uppertons, like that is the exact same language with which we talk about the extremely wealthy today, and like this difference between the 1% and the 99%. To talk about the Uppertons versus the rest of us.
I was gonna say, it was like when we walked around Wall Street, and the financial.
Yeah, they don't talk about that.
Ago. And I believe I pointed out when we were walking around, but there's a fortress built in the Manhattan's financial district, and it's in the same style of fortresses of that type were built in the 1880s after that kind of almost national revolt that I spoke of happened, and they were built in all the financial districts of cities across the United States, not to protect against like a foreign invasion, but to protect against, if that ever happened again, that the National Guard and the municipal police could like hole up in a fortress and protect like literally the financial district from an assault of an assaulting mob. So that history is written into us, and it's most certainly suppressed. I mean, I didn't even come to it until like reading independently of my own, like sort of towards the end and after I'd left like college and stuff. Like nobody had informed me of that history, never in any of the history courses I took, and again, even the myth that like you go to a school or you go to a university and they're all filled with Marxists or whatever. It's just like not the case.
So far from the truth, dude.
And I had to learn all that history on my own. And there's a reason why it's deliberately suppressed. I mean, we've probably mentioned it before on the show, but like May Day as the International Labor Day started in the United States, and the United States to this day is the only country in the world that does not celebrate it on fucking May 1st. They celebrate it in September because they're afraid, of the connotations it had, and then obviously it became like the great day of celebration and parade in the Soviet Union and in the sort of socialist communist bloc.
They should be afraid. They should be afraid.
I hope we should go to like the archive at the New York Public Library and we can find like an old rickety cylinder or pamphlet that's called "Consume the Uppertons." And
well, it's interesting too.
Free uncouth.
It's interesting too. One other thing on those riots that I found interesting is that that's sort of like as far as like long-term consequences as well. That's sort of like kind of blamed for the removal because like prior to that, like back in the 1800s, prior, like I mean everybody read Shakespeare. Everybody went to Shakespeare plays. It wasn't like this like hoity-toity type affair. You know what I'm saying? Like Shakespeare.
Not a cell phone in sight.
And it was like 300 years old at that point, too.
Right. But it was popular entertainment, and everybody was familiar with. I mean, it was just everybody was familiar with it. But like, it's those riots, according to what I read, that sort of led to the removal of Shakespeare from the popular culture, and it sort of became like reserved as like this sort of highbrow type thing. Like from like that was like when that association started to like with Shakespeare and like the wealthy theater going crowd, and there's some sort of like highbrow type thing. That's when that shift sort of happened.
Which is good for them, because I mean, what's not to like? There's love, there's sex, there's murder, there's intrigue, there's anti-Semitic tropes. It's all the shit that the Uppertons like.
Yeah.
Now when I was a young boy, about the age of 5, my teachers taught me I could be the greatest man alive. They told me I could change the world, be whatever I wanted to be. There was no one in the world like me. Every one of us was so unique. I'd not be an average man. No, sir, I'd be no average man. So I had those big dreams.
Welcome back, everybody, to Eat the Rich. This is a show about our political economy, late-stage capitalism, and the millionaires, billionaires, and multinational corporations hell-bent on staving off its death rattle. I'm Dwight, and today we have with us Shane. Shit, it's getting bleak.
What's that?
It's getting bleak. And we have Chris.
Ahoy, hoy.
So this is an interesting episode that we wanted to do. This is the first multi-level marketing, aka pyramid scheme focused episode that we've done on suggestion from friend of the show, Carrie, that suggested this particular company. I would be surprised if everybody that's listening didn't have firsthand knowledge of what a pyramid scheme looks and feels and smells like. I'm sure you've been approached by like a fucking second cousin on Facebook that is trying to sell like energy drinks or something like that. There's a particular one that Carrie pointed us into the direction of, which is called ItWorks. Disclaimer, it doesn't.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know if anybody had that joke saved up, but I
mean,
I have to rewrite 20 minutes of material.
Prove it doesn't. That's all I'm saying.
And like most founders of companies that have found enormous success, they try to, especially that is exploiting people, they try to change their biographies by feigning charity and feigning philanthropy. And of course, like most of the people that we talk about in this program, these people will be no different. The particular individuals we're talking about are Mike and Cindy Pentecost.
I think it's so funny that their last name is Pentecost.
Fuck, did I say Mike?
He said Mike, yeah. Take it again.
No, don't take it again.
Christ.
It's fine.
No,
Let's just
don't
call
take-
him Mike. Fuck him.
Mark.
Who gives a shit?
Mark.
His son's
Mark.
name is Kyler.
What?
Isn't his son's name Kyler? The first time I saw it, I thought it had to be a typo, but then I kept seeing his son's name as Kyler. Kyler.
There's no way.
That's what I said. That's what
There's
I said
no
too.
way.
But every time I saw it, it had the R at the end.
Kyler Pentecost.
Yeah. Do you see it?
Oh, that's fucking embarrassing, dude. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, God. All right. Anyway, I don't know. Oh, this isn't good. Hang on. I'm going to his website, KylerPentecost.com. I don't know if this is going to make it in, but let's just...
Oh, this is making it in, man.
It doesn't... His website goes nowhere. But I'm looking at his Twitter. Definitely don't find him on Twitter, which is at Kyler, Kyler, like an idiot, Pentecost. At Kyler Pentecost.
Shit to your... like, literally one of the dumbest names I've ever seen in my life. It's like, again, it's like... Do you ever see that screenshot of, like, from that Japanese baseball video game from like the early 90s where it's like the roster of all the players' names, and it's like it's like their idea, like they're making up like what they think American sounding names are. Yeah,
so good.
And they're all like ridiculous. Yeah, like Kyler Pentecost, it's a fucking made up name, bullshit name. Get him out of here.
Kyler, come on the show. We got a few questions to ask you, buddy. Anyway, so it revolves around this husband and wife team, Mark and Cindy Pentecost, and their unfortunate progeny, Kyler. And to kind of set it up, before we go into it, let's just kind of set it up. And I would like to read from a 2017 article from News Channel 11 in Knoxville, WJHL, and it's titled, Former Knoxville ItWorks Distributor Warns Others to Check the Fine Print. And it reads as follows. It is billed as a way for women to lose weight and make money, but is ItWorks too good to be true? Founded in 2001, the ItWorks phenomenon is a product line that includes body wrap and supplements. On a distributor site, it states explicitly that it helps, quote, diminish cellulite and stretch marks if used properly. This one is hard to even say. The products are sold through distributors called rappreneurs.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Fuck.
A portmanteau of rap and fucking entrepreneur. Yeah.
Oh, God. It says distributors make commissions on both the products they are selling and the new distributors they sign up to be members of their teams, which, as we'll learn later on in the program, is the slight technicality that stops it from being fucking illegal. When Mandy Jennis from Knoxville signed up to be a rappreneur, she said she was hoping to make money to help pay her way through nursing school by recruiting others in the multi-level marketing business. However, she said that was not the case. When I invested my $99 in the company, they said I would make $1,000, and that was not true. After investing $99 for a starter kit to join the company, a distributor has to spend $80 monthly on products for herself or resale. With extra costs for things like hosting wrap parties or running a website, she earns commissions based on how many loyalty customers and other distributors she can enroll. At national conferences, successful distributors tell others if you want to make money, you have to sell the entire line of products and wrap as many people as possible to build your business. Psychotic shit. In self-help testimonials, successful distributors, many who earn a good living selling the products full-time, talk about their successes and what it takes to sign up other distributors. ItWorks distributor Susan Wade says she is picky about who she signs up because ItWorks is a business. If someone tells me they are not interested in turning on their website or auto ship, look, this business is not for you. You need to be a loyal customer, said Wade. I want people to be serious on my team. Jenna said that she had many loyal customers buy products from her, but they stopped short of selecting the auto shipment membership option. I was hosting 3 parties a week. I was spending about $200 to have product on hand for people to buy. They were not buying because they didn't want to be in that auto shipment. To get a discount, you must agree to buy at least 3 months of ItWorks products and agree to auto shipment. If you cancel early, you're required to pay a $50 fee. Jesus Christ. Jenna said that people didn't want to fork our $30 to $40 every month because they didn't need the products every month. The ItWorks sales force also sells and promotes a line of supplements called Fat Fighters or Fat Burners. Jenna says she expected results. It was like as a magic pill. Like you take this and you can go pretty much and eat whatever you want. That is not necessarily true. Be careful. Do your research with it. Read the fine print. And then it concludes the article here saying, the Federal Trade Commission said before diving into a multi-level marketing program, make sure you're not dealing with a pyramid scheme. If you're planning to buy into a multi-level marketing plan, get the details. And there are a few bullet points here. They say, if the money you make is based on your sales to the public, it may be a legitimate multi-level marketing plan. If the money you make is mainly based on the number of people you recruit and your sales to them, it's a pyramid scheme.
I mean, explain to me the difference between, I mean, they're synonymous, aren't they? A multi-level marketing and a pyramid scheme.
Well,
I mean, how are they not synonymous?
So, yeah. So they're dancing quite a little technicality here.
Right.
And
Right.
as we'll get into it, it goes into their entire marketing structure as well. I mean, a true pyramid scheme is nearly like a Ponzi scheme, which is like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the way, that's the way. I mean, I guess it would be helpful to explain, to the listener what a multi-level marketing is, and I don't see how it's different from, a pyramid scheme. I mean, basically, the money that's being generated, it's not being generated by direct sales of the goods to the public. The money is being generated by, commissions or whatever being made, a percentage being made on recruiting new people to be distributors, and then you get a cut or you get a percentage of their wholesale order from the company of the goods that they're going to sell. So the vast majority of people don't make any money. In fact, most people who get involved in this sort of thing actually lose money and just get stuck with a garage full handful of the product or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, a handful of people, at the very top, do make quite a large amount of money. But I mean, all the money is coming from just new people that you recruit buying goods to sell. I mean, it's not, the money's not coming from actually selling the goods to the general public.
Exactly. So to illustrate this, I read something from a blog called The Finance Guy, and he talks about Bitcoin, so take it with a fucking grain of salt. But what he does say here is, and I'll just read an excerpt of his little review on ItWorks specifically. He says, "Why is it difficult to make money with ItWorks?" And he writes here, "We believe that the problem is with the network marketing business model. It's not designed to help people make money or gain financial freedom. The system is designed to promote and sell products. Multi-level marketing is profitable for the companies which can produce the products, but not for the members who join the, quote, business opportunity. Multi-level marketing is a way for companies to sell products without employing a sales force and without having to spend the money on traditional advertising and promotion." It's so predatory. We'll get into it. But instead, it says here, "Instead, they build a network of loyal believers who are willing to pay an unusually high price for the added hopes and dreams of financial freedom. We applied John Taylor's 5-step multi-level marketing evaluation, which I'll talk about in a second, to ItWorks, and we found that all 5 red flags were raised. The research suggests that because at least 4 flags are raised, there is less than a 1% chance of turning a profit with ItWorks." I'll say that again. Yep. There's a less than 1% chance of turning a profit with ItWorks.
I mean, across the board, that's pretty standard for any sort of multi-level marketing, Herbalife or any of those. I mean, 99% of the people that get involved in that don't ever turn a dime of profit.
So this gentleman, a gentleman named Dr. John Taylor, he says he's the president of Consumer Awareness Institute and advisor of Pyramid Scheme Alert, and he has these 5 red flags, casual and defining characteristics of product-based pyramid schemes or recruiting multi-level marketing. And the 5 red flags are as followed. 1, each person recruited is empowered and given incentives to recruit other participants who are empowered and motivated to recruit still other participants. So an endless chain of, quote, empowered and motivated recruiters recruiting recruiters. 2, advancement in a hierarchy of multiple levels of, quote, distributors is achieved by recruitment rather than by appointment. 3, pay-to-play requirements are met by ongoing incentivized purchases with participants being the primary buyers. So like we were just hearing with ItWorks, you had to pay freaking $99 or whatever a month just to be even part of the process. 4, the multi-level marketing company pays commissions and bonuses on more distributor levels than are functionally justified, i.e. more than 5 levels, right? Because then you're just like entirely dissociated from the actual selling of the product. And then finally, company payout, as in commissions or bonuses, per sale of the total of all upline participants equals or exceeds that for the person actually selling the product. Meaning the higher up you are, the more remuneration you would get than the person that's actually selling the product. In which case, it's a fucking pyramid. The finance guy says here, for example, during our research, we found a page about how to make money with ItWorks. It was created in early 2018, and it's based on an interview with a current distributor. She talks excitedly about the company. She even has a strategy for making over 40 grand in bonuses over the next 4 months, despite the fact that she was only making $100 per month in commission at the time of the interview. She says she feels she's less than 6 months away of earning upward of 30 grand per month by August 2018. And they say here, when we checked again in November 2018, her distributor link is no longer active. She may have had a strategy for her success, but it appears that after the interview, she quit ItWorks in less than 1 year. Even though she believed in the system and was working hard to share the opportunity, it appears to have failed her. Around half of the ItWorks distributors quit every year. I mean, it's pretty fucking definitive. But Shane, I know you're chomping at the bit to say something.
Oh, no, I mean, I was gonna say, like, to put it in context, maybe like for those who aren't familiar with ItWorks and what this company is purporting to offer, right? And what is part of this package that you're supposed to sell. So as you mentioned, they've added a few lines of things like supplements and creams and a variety of various pseudo nonsense sort of healthcare, skincare products mainly targeted at women. But their main product, the thing that he started with, is a wrap. which it's a fucking plastic wrap that you wrap around your body to lose weight, and presumably it has other benefits, like strangling your capillaries and fucking I don't know, making your skin look nicer or whatever. But that was the core model, right? The idea is like, here's something, and we can get, again, mainly targeted to women, get women to sell it, involve women in the pyramid scheme, have them sell it to, like, in all pyramid schemes, immediately, like, you sell it to your friends, your family, and I don't know if we're gonna end up using it as the episode art, but if you aren't familiar with this, I implore the listener, look up the wrap and see. It's literally like fucking caution tape that you buy, that the police wrap around a crime scene, and you're supposed to wrap it around your thigh, and it's supposed to lose weight. And all I'm gonna say is, like, in terms of, like, empirical scientific truth, you have as much of a chance losing weight by wrapping this kind of thing around your body that you do from subscribing to the Eat the Rich Patreon for $5 a month. And one costs a lot more than the other. So all I can say is make the decision based upon your... I mean, that's a 100% true fact that I said, in terms of you have as much chance doing that.
Empirically accurate.
I mean, like, and like you said, Dwight, like, the whole structure of the company, like most multi-level marketing and pyramid schemes, is, again, the idea is to recruit more people, and like I said, you do this by immediately, and the way that you're encouraged to do it, both by official and unofficial kind of company information and information from the other sellers and stuff, the way that you do that is immediately tapping into the people that are within your network, right? Which, again, is family and friends. And one of the reasons why ItWorks has been particularly successful and had a long life, like you said, it was founded in 2001, and it's still around, is apparently its social media presence, which is why it was on our radar to begin with. I mean, as you mentioned, Carrie had kind of recommended us to take a look into this, and part of the reason is that in her Facebook feed, she kept seeing this material being push, and so maybe those of you out there, particularly women who have a lot of connections like that on social media, you might have already encountered this and run into this, because social media is especially like Facebook, is entirely based around creating these networks of your friends and family. And so taking the, like, age-old logic of a multi-level marketing scheme and then injecting it into that is like a guaranteed fucking success in a purely capitalistic way, because you're preying upon a number of anxieties that are already present within those networks, right? Which is to say, like, you're basing your buying decisions and the decisions of whether or not I should, sign up with this company on, strong social ties. It's not just like a random salesperson, right? It's your sister, it's your partner, it's your cousin, or whatever. It's people that, or your best friend, like people that you already have a connection to. Again, the reason why that works is because there's a predatory angle on it, where it's playing upon a number of anxieties that are already triggered within those networks, right? Which is to say, you have those strong social ties, which makes you feel more, socially obligated to respond or engage with those kinds of, sales tactics or whatever. Or on the other hand, you're more likely to trust those people. And then on top of that as well, the products themselves, in terms of the consumer base that they're being marketed towards, but also the sales force they're looking to, are preying upon a number of well-worn anxieties that are, targeted in a marketing way towards women and perceptions of, their body and youth or whatever. And then you add on top of that this promise, right? This almost cult-like promise of making a huge amount of money, which is key to any successful pyramid scheme, this weird charisma, right? That then you have to infect further people with, right? Like you were just saying, Dwight, in that piece, right? Where they're talking to this person who has this clearly delusional idea that somehow they're going to make a lot of money. And just based on some of the informal kind of scouring I did of looking at, like, stuff online, I mean, if you go to, like, YouTube, for example, and you type in ItWorks, you're going to get two kinds of things back, right? You're going to get mostly, like, the first hits are going to be people who left ItWorks and have their own, like, horror story about why they did so. And then alternatively, you're going to have these really long kind of, like, conference call things that they put forward on their own unofficial Facebook page and their all their other social media surrogates, but then also people independently will make these kinds of things, these sort of like very sales oriented tactics. And based on watching a couple of those, what it seemed is that some of the populations that they're specifically targeting, right, like with a lot of these historical pyramid sell-from-home type schemes, right, are like stay-at-home moms, and particularly, for some reason, military wives seems to be the big one.
Yep.
And, and women for whatever reason, right? And in fact, some of the marketing material I saw, it actually tries to guilt women who work outside of the home into working at home, vis-a-vis, wouldn't you rather be at home with your kids while you're working as opposed to being at the office or whatever? So they take all of these things that are already present on your mind, right? Like, oh my God, I have all these anxieties in my life. I don't have enough money. I don't have a good work-home balance. I need to be at home with the kids or whatever. And they provide this convenient package. And then, of course, they're able to take a few salient examples. And Chris, like you said, 99% of the people who get involved in these kinds of schemes never make a single fucking dime. But there are occasionally, a few people who really, through whatever ruthless maneuvering, are able to make a huge amount of money. And so then, you can put those people forward. Those are the people who are going to be producing that kind of content of like, here's how to be a winner. Here's how to do, sales stuff. And you get caught up in that entire culture. And again, it's, then if you're doing it successfully, everybody else around you, all your other friends, all the other connections you've made on social media, right? And as we've learned through the quarantining, if you're stuck at home and all you're doing is being on social media, that energy will end up infecting you and affecting how you think. And if you've surrounded yourself with an entire fucking menagerie of people who are all encouraging this behavior, then it's very much like a cult, right? It's like a cult of success. Right. It's a cult of money plus, youth, and I'm going to lose weight. All I have to do is wrap myself like a mummy, and suddenly I'm going to lose 20 to 30 pounds or whatever. I mean, it's sad in the sense that it preys upon those anxieties, but it's also objectively an incredibly funny looking product. You have to look it up.
And I'll tell you one thing. Speaking of these community, the way they prey on people, and specific communities. You mentioned women. You mentioned stay-at-home moms. I'm not sure about ItWorks, but I know that in Herbalife, one of the communities that they really preyed on and really targeted a lot of their marketing towards was Hispanic communities. Because the Hispanic communities, you have a lot of very large, tight-knit extended families. You know what I'm saying? You have like a lot of very large, tight-knit communities. So you get an inroad in the Hispanic community, and then you have a lot of opportunities for some of their distributors to then recruit other distributors, in their rather large, tight-knit, extended family. And so I know that Herbalife really specifically targeted Hispanic communities, and and talk about like the psychological impact of it. You get a lot of you can get a lot of fallout from these sort of things. I mean, you get a lot of feelings of betrayal. I'm saying, if your cousin or if your close friend or your sister or whatever really encourage you to get involved in this, and then you lose a bunch of money doing this. There's a documentary a couple years ago. I don't remember what it was called. It was about Herbalife and about all this this sort of thing. It's a rather infuriating documentary because it's told from the perspective of this shithead investor who was trying to short sell Herbalife, and they sort of make him out to be the hero of the thing, but he's also a despicable piece of shit.
He's just a fucking ghoul.
I remember a lot of what was discussed in that was the way Herbalife specifically targeted the Hispanic communities, and again, like I said, a lot it really showcased a lot of the fallout and the feelings of betrayal of like I said, you get recruited into something like this, and then a year later you're out $10,000 and you got a garage full of fucking supplements and fucking mummy wraps and all this worthless shit.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point that you brought up, that the fallout in terms of dealing with your family members, right? And your friends and family. I mean, again, this is a way, social media in general is an attempt by capital interests to derive profit from social connections.
Sure.
And then you add something like this to the mix, right? Where it's well, can we make an even more accentuated quick profit off of these people, get them to spend a huge amount of money by spreading this throughout their network and their community, and then eventually they'll all burn out in a year or whatever. Like you said, Dwight, the turnover is incredibly high, and who knows how many fucking personal relationships that'll ruin and destroy, but who cares, because at the very top of the pyramid are fucking Mark and Cindy Pentecost, you know, making off with literally
Kyler,
millions.
don't forget Kyler, man.
Fucking Kyler. Typical Kyler,
I did
frankly.
want to briefly also, just to put things in a little bit of perspective, to make it clear, like, you know, who are the real evil actors here, right? I was trying very desperately to find any kind of biographical information about Mark and Cindy Pentecost, and I really, all I could find were like the same kind of corporate fucking, you know, biographical bullshit that you always hear. Like, he was in the 1990s, he was like a high school teacher, and he didn't have enough money, and he was like, he wanted to look to just make a little bit of extra money every month, and so he started doing some kind of like fucking cold call sales thing, and then he came up with this idea when he suddenly realized, like, oh, I'm actually really good as a ruthless salesman. He quit being a teacher, and then he founded this company where, you know, they wrap people in saran wrap and say you're a millionaire. And so, you know, he's the family has made an incredible amount of money. And again, I couldn't pin down their exact net worth, but I know there were a lot of articles about them in like 2013, 2014, 2015, because that was when they were starting to really peak with some of their sales numbers.
Right.
And in those years, they were making about $500 million a year.
Yeah, it's a tremendously profitable company.
So in terms of their actual net worth, I couldn't exactly get a definitive number. I mean, obviously, some of that money is going to be, you know, covered up in overhead or whatever. But like, if they're making that, if the company is making that on a yearly basis, it's a lot. And just to give an example of the way that you can throw around your money when you have that much outsized wealth, in 2015, he bought a fucking island.
Oh yeah, red flag. Yep. Immediate red flag.
And
immediate red flag.
And one of the lines that kept cropping up, this is like one of his catchphrases, because I saw it in a number of articles that quoted him, and I think it might even be on their official website somewhere, but he says it in a lot of different ways, so you know it's like a thing he came up with, and he's like, oh, this is clever. But from this one Forbes article from 2015 talking about the island purchase, he says, "We like to make money like Warren Buffett, but we like to hang out like Jimmy Buffett."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, his Twitter account is insufferable.
Yeah,
dude, the worst kind of fucking retiree boomer you can imagine.
And it's in Florida too, by the way.
Like a Key West boomer.
The name of the island is Little Bokeelia.
Little St. James, was it?
So, I think it's somewhere, maybe, no, it's not in the Keys. It's like
it's in Florida.
It's
though.
outside
not
of
Keys.
it's outside. It's on the Gulf side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. It is on the Gulf side. Yeah, but yeah, it just gives you a sense of like the insane amount of money they've gotten by basically scamming people with the hopes and dreams and desires that we're all fed with, right? In this particular social reality that we live in, which is like, you could be a millionaire, you could be young forever, you could be skinny and beautiful, and basically preying upon people's anxieties surrounding those things, scamming them so he can go and retreat and play fucking mini golf with a bunch of other, like, you know, aging boomers or whatever before the fucking Florida gets taken over by water.
Does he is he a regular at Mar-a-Lago? I just have a feeling he's been to Mar-a-Lago a time or two.
They're actually, I know they met Trump while he was in the presidency. There's a picture of the two of them with Trump, and in a lot of the earlier articles I was talking about from like 2013, he talked about Trump a lot. He would always mention Donald Trump. He's like, I want to be the Donald Trump of wrapping women in saran wrap. You know, like that was like that was his fucking modus operandi. He was like, imagine looking at Donald Trump, like pre the political sphere. Imagine just looking at Donald Trump and being like, that's who I want to be. That's gonna be me one day.
Fuck, that's bleak.
Like that
dude.
was his ambition.
That's
and to
bleak.
a certain extent, at least in the sense that his entire fucking, you know, bullshit saran wrap empire is you know, built on a foundation of pyramid of scamming people, then yeah, in that sense he is much like Trump.
Dude, to that point about boomers, I was watching one of the informational like videos that they put out, and he talks about being a boomer and what's important to boomers is anti-aging.
I think about the boomers. You know, I am a boomer, and I'm thinking about, I want to look younger, I want to live longer, and that was kind of the motto we set as we brought in new products. You know, when the boomers were coming through, they were having kids, you had a diaper boom. When they were having building their houses, you had a housing boom. Today, it's about anti-aging. It's about wellness products. And this is a big piece of pie right now. You decide if you want to get a piece of this.
So the thing from it that fucking blew my mind is that where he says, and with these wraps, you'll be losing inches in as little as 45 minutes.
It's a pretty big claim.
Which is Could you imagine how alarming that would be if you're looking at your own body wasting away in a matter under an hour? Like you would fucking call your lawyer to do your will. You would call and tell your family that you love them. It's fucking alarming. Can you imagine that for a second? There's a, guys, tell me if this is an appropriate time to bring this up, but there's a Reddit testimonial about like what it does to people and how crazy it is.
Sure, yeah, let's go for it.
Oh, please, go ahead.
So there's a subreddit that I looked up called anti-MLM, anti-multilevel marketing.
Anti-Marxist-Leninist Maoists. It's a revisionist subreddit. Don't go there. It's filled with CIA Western propaganda lies.
Wow. All right, anyway, back to the fucking rap. This was a little bit of an inside info from a Reddit user named Wob Queen. This was 2 years ago. And she writes this as follows. She says, I went to a party a few years ago where a former friend was trying to pawn this shit. The lady that was running it was using a Photoshop-like program to slim our stomachs. She would take a before pic, wrap us, unwrap us, then take an after pic, and walk slowly to the next victim while altering the photos so it just looked like she was walking around engaging in conversation when in reality, she was doctoring the images. She says, I actually sneakily looked and volunteered to go last so I could catch her in the act at her tablet while she was touching up the other girls, and I could not believe she would stoop so low. She would go to the after photo and slim it. When she finally got to me, she took the before photo, wrapped me for the allotted time, took off the wrap, and took an after pic. But she was deliberately trying to move out of my way like earlier so I couldn't see her alter it, but I insisted she show me right away. Oh wow, it's so instant? Let me see. I played dumb like you wouldn't even know. Her face was super uncomfortable and she ended up showing me with a sad, sorry look on my unedited stomach because she couldn't get around to editing it without me seeing. The before and after pics looked exactly the same. You know how when you Photoshop an image, it has broken pixels on the sides of the legs or stomachs or looks overly polished or really, really blurred edges? That's how the after pics looked, except mine. I didn't call her out on it, but I wish I did.
That's incredible to me. Like, how are you going to convince anybody that it works instantly like that? And like you said, like if it did, that would be alarming.
Absolutely alarming. It's
that would be terrifying.
Could you imagine looking down at your stomach and seeing it waste away
in real time
in a matter of fucking minutes?
Yeah.
I would have a fucking panic attack and pass out, gasping for air.
You know, like you mentioned earlier, Dwight, the idea of the like magic pill, like the magic weight loss pill, like some kind of pill you just take and suddenly you lose weight. The truth is, there is such a pill that does that. It's just
it's called method.
All right.
It's called methamphetamine.
Right, exactly. It's just that's not its primary purpose, and it has a lot of other effects.
Right. All of them good.
I feel like it makes you want to dig a lot of holes in a yard or something.
It does for some people, sure. Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
There's no reason to keep this in, but there's a fucking terrifying video of a guy who's neighbors with somebody that's on meth.
I've seen that. Yeah, and he's like, through the fence, yeah?
Yes, and he's just like, you just see his hand digging underneath the fence.
And we will keep this in, but there was one time when I was, real quick, when I was in San Francisco, and you see all sorts of people doing weird stuff like that, and I saw there was a guy on his hands and knees on the sidewalk with like a screwdriver or something, and he was like outside of this CVS, and he was like scraping all the grout out from between these sidewalk tiles, right? And I saw him doing it, right? And then like probably 6 or 7 hours later, I went back by the same spot and he was still there. He'd made some progress and he was still there going at it.
Oh, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so another thing that struck me as curious, and Chris, you pointed out, is that their last name is Pentecost. And so, like,
bizarre.
I know that, I was trying to get, like, a handle on really specific biographical information. I know they've met with Trump. They're obviously, like, right-wing.
They're deep, they seem very religious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, he talks about God a lot.
That was the other thing. I noticed particularly Cindy Pentecost a number of times has mentioned things like, oh, God wants us to be successful. God wants us to have this money or whatever. And so I was looking into that angle, and I noticed one of the things that ItWorks, champions, right, like to put forward a good image, is that it donates a lot to charities. And so if you go to their ItWorks, they have a whole foundation set up for it, and it's called ItWorks Gives Back. and they have listed on their website a number of charities that they give to. And so, of course, you do any amount of investigation in these charities, they're all charities that have some kind of religious bend. They're connected to some things. Some of them,
right.
I don't. Some of them,
the Opus Dei Center for Reproductive Freedom.
Right, exactly. And, there are some things that they give to that are good causes, like whatever, fighting pediatric cancer and stuff like that. But there was one organization that they gave to that really, just stood out to me with its name. And it's called Samaritan's Purse.
Okay.
Yes. Okay,
so Samaritan's Purse is run by Franklin Graham, who's the son of Billy Graham.
Okay. Yes, he is.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah. And so Samaritan's Purse, right? What it says on the ItWorks website is this is an organization that does international and domestic disaster relief. And it specifically says, let me read it here. It's so good. It says, Samaritan's Purse supported with $155,000, that's from ItWorks, to offer spiritual and physical help to victims of natural disasters and humanitarian crises. And what's funny to me that is spiritual comes first. What's really important in the wake of some kind of awful disaster is that somebody comes in and helps you pray or whatever. But they're a missionary, evangelical missionary organization that does some small amount of material good compounded with their actual mission, which is to evangelize and spread the word of God. And in particular, this organization, being that it has the familial connections it does, virulently anti-gay. And one of the things you have to do when you join Samaritan's Purse as a volunteer or if you work for the organization or whatever, is you have to do a statement of faith. And in this statement of faith, it's a bunch of different proposals that all are tied to some, quote, random out of context taken thing from the Bible. And one of them, among them is the idea that, marriage is a sacred thing between men and women. So that's you have to say that and declare that to work with the organization. So I don't want to go into too much detail about Samaritan's Purse. Maybe that's something that we could look into for a separate episode. But it did happen to pop up in a news feed item.
I know.
So you thought this show didn't have a COVID-19 angle? Wrong. Wrong-o. Okay? So Samaritan's Purse has set up a field hospital in Central Park as a triage thing, this week to deal with the fucking COVID crisis. And so the reason why I happen to notice this is this guy, Reverend Billy. Do you guys know him? He's a protester that he's been in the sort of New York protest scene for a while. He does these weird caricature of an evangelical guy, Reverend Billy.
No.
Anyway, he got arrested for he wears a whole pink suit and he flies a rainbow flag. He got arrested for protesting their thing, and there's a fucking picture of the NYPD and him all in masks, and they're dragging him out because he was protesting them, being this is an anti-LGBTQ plus organization.
Yes.
Fuck them, they don't have a place here, right? Because it's always then the question, even in that case where you could say well, it's an extreme disaster scenario, should we allow them to help? The question is, what if somebody who's openly gay has that disease and then comes into that tent? How are they going to treat that person? Are they going to treat that person? Do they reserve the right to not treat that person? So some deeply fucked up things going on there in terms of, again, these are the organizations that they give a small amount of money to try to look good, and ultimately they're about a tax break but also pushing their own agenda. But further on the COVID angle, right, to just hammer home what scummy pieces of shit the Pentecost family is, on the Mark Pentecost Instagram, which you shared with us, Dwight, yesterday, did you see his post from yesterday?
No.
I'm just gonna read it. So this is from his official Instagram. ItWorks cares, and we want you to have access to the things you need most. Introducing our new antibacterial hand sanitizer that kills 99.9% of germs to help you stay protected.
No!
We want your family to stay safe and healthy during this time. So hashtag stay home and let's be hashtag germ-free together. And then there's a little video. It says from the creators of Skinny Brew. There's their little fucking new bottle of hand sanitizer that they're going to now sell through their various tendrils of their pyramid scheme situation. Also, and again, this came out yesterday. What that means is the second that they saw, oh my god, hand sanitizer sales are through the roof, he shouted back into the fucking Christian cave or wherever he lives on his island and said, we need hand sanitizer, stat! there's a bundle to be made. And he just pushed through. He probably just bought some pre-existing hand sanitizer, and they took a while to repackage it or remake it or whatever. It'd be even funnier if they tried to develop it on their own, and it turns out it's just pure fraudulent nonsense. But now they're selling hand sanitizer as well, purely as a way, and they're not like saying like, hey, if you buy X amount of our products, we'll include a certain amount of hand sanitizer with it. In fact, Carrie showed me today a post from somebody she knows who's like one of their salespeople saying, we will give you some hand sanitizer at a discounted price if you buy X amount of money of these other products. Meaning, if you spend like $300 on fucking, I don't know, tinfoil that you wrap around your toes so you stop aging, then they'll send you like one little fucking vial of hand sanitizer that you can try to distribute with your family.
It's just the Purell label is scratched off.
Right.
It just says, it has a sticker that says ItWorks over it.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God. That is so fucking dystopian and cynical. How cynical do you
Absolutely
have to be
cynical.
to see a global pandemic and say, like, I can make a fucking profit off of this? Fucking unreasonable.
The gas station down the street from me is I just noticed on the counter yesterday, they got these little tiny, like just the very tiniest little travel bottles of hand sanitizer. They're selling them for $5 each.
Fuck me, dude. I mean, buy Everclear and just put it in a spray bottle. I'm serious. Well, I think it's illegal in New York City, but I got a few places I know I can buy it from.
Skinny Brew, by the way, is the they have like that's their like coffee, and the idea is like this is like a weight loss coffee.
Is it like a bulletproof coffee thing? Because I noticed the guy. I noticed in some of the pictures.
Very similar.
Some of the pictures of Mark, he was wearing a keto shirt. So I guess he's like a keto diet guy, ketogenic diet guy.
Yes, exactly correct. In fact, I was watching a YouTube channel, very interesting, called who's a woman named Carly Vickery, and she was talking about, she does multi-level marketing shaming, one of which she was talking about ItWorks, and she was saying how, like, when you look at the cost per cup of the kind of bulletproof coffee that they do for ItWorks, it's like $6.50 per cup of coffee to stay on the quote keto diet. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody's done keto that's listening.
I have.
Yeah, me too.
I have. I got a real fucking, just, you want to hear what a dumbass I am, man. I was making bulletproof coffee one time. To the listener, bulletproof coffee is coffee that you make and then you put there's a particular type, I can't remember, it was the Kerrygold, it was unsalted, it's a particular type of butter. You put the butter in the coffee, and
you put butter in coffee?
Yeah, you put the butter in the coffee. And there was one time that I decided I would make the coffee with the butter in it, but I want to see how this is going to be cold. I would like to have this iced, and I put the ice in it.
Oh, buddy, no.
And the butter just immediately solidified in the coffee, and I felt like the biggest fucking dipshit in the world.
No, don't do that.
Nice.
I was like, why? Like, as soon as I did it, I was like, why even for a second did I think this would work?
Just choking down bitter chunks of butter.
I just had to throw it out.
Yeah, no, that's a nightmare. I had a buddy that did ghee and coconut oil in espresso, and it was pretty good.
What was the first thing?
Ghee, clarified butter. Yeah,
I have a pretty good diet plan that I've stuck to. I haven't done keto yet, but I have a kind of proprietary one that I've come up with. I mean, you guys know me, you've seen me. You know, I have been able to maintain a shape pretty consistently for the entire time you've known me.
Strong,
and
solid.
The details of this diet plan, which I guarantee will revolutionize your life, they'll be available on the next Patreon Eat the Rich episode. $5 a month, you get tips and tricks for, you know, the body, mind, the soul, whatever you need.
Pretzel versus non-pretzel combos. Dude, it crossed my mind too, like legitimately trying to do like a little cookbook or something, or like a little cooking thing for Eat the Rich Patreon listeners.
Yeah, dude.
Because I really love cooking, but I'm just, you know, and I've got fucking time, but it's just hard to get our hands on ingredients, and I don't know how many people really want to cook with like different parts of animals like I do, like fucking chicken liver pate, which I'm still eating through. I had to fucking freeze
the
half
Pentecost souffle.
No. We opened the show with cannibalism. We're not closing the show with cannibalism. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Pentecost, ItWorks, evil bad people, weird right-wing evangelical capitalists, scammers.
Private island having sickos.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I was trying to think about, because I'm sure, I mean, we could go into like our own personal, I'm sure both of you guys have experience with being pitched to.
Oh my God, yes.
From a multi-level marketer.
Oh, sure.
I mean, fuck it, I'll tell my story, and then you guys can go. I think the first time that I got pitched to by a multi-level marketer was actually really embarrassing. It was in college, and there was like, because college was on like a T1 line or T3, so it was like really fast internet, and the student body had like our own secret little file sharing program, so we could like send each other fucking MXPX songs or whatever. And the one I remember, there was like a little chat box in it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but long story short, I got talking to this dude, and we were talking about cars. And at the time, I mean, I love cars. I'll never probably own one again because this is the end of fossil fuels or whatever, and I'm like pretty committed to getting rid of all that shit, even though I still have a love for like old cars and whatever. But we were talking about cars, and he was like, hey, well, I really want to get this Ferrari. In fact, I might want to get it next month or something. It wasn't like an unattainable Ferrari. It was like a vintage 512 or 355 or some shit like that. And so he was like, why don't we meet at the coffee shop and the at the library? Let's talk about it. And so I was like, fuck it, yeah, I'm actually going to be going through there anyway near that time. So I went there and I met him, and there was like 3 other kind of sad, sheepish looking people sitting there. And we sat down and he started kind of talking. I'm going to say maybe 90 seconds, I was like, oh shit, buddy, you're in it. You're getting the spiel right now. This is bullshit. And I think I said something like, oh, hey, I'm gonna meet my buddies. We're gonna go do a shot or something, some college bullshit, whatever I said. And I got out of there. I think it must have been sophomore year. And I remember thinking about like, man, these poor schmucks are gonna be sitting there for fucking like 2 hours listening to this psycho go on about how much money they're gonna make by selling energy drinks. It was energy drinks. And I remember looking into it. Did you guys ever see, I think it was on Netflix, the series called The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret?
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, of IFC. Yeah, that was great.
I wasn't a fan.
Oh, I loved it.
Kick him off the show.
Oh, I
kick
loved
him off
it.
the show. I'm done with him. It was a great show. What the fuck are you talking about?
Nah, it sucked.
Oh my God, you suck.
I enjoyed it. Relax. Boys, quarantine's getting to us. But it reminded me of the energy drink that they were selling in this. Just some like a god-awful swill or whatever. But anyway, that was my first story with multi-level marketing. Or it might have been before that with like college pro painters. I was an actual house painter in college. And I remember like other people being like, oh, so I'm actually starting my own business doing college painting in the summertime. So if you're interested in joining my crew, like that would be cool. But I was like doing like actual good work on like historical barns and shit. Getting poisoned with lead paint. I remember my boss didn't tell me. I remember picking up the drop cloth and I was like, what the fuck? This shit's heavy. It's like, oh yeah, it's all lead.
I'm going to share mine after we stop recording.
Oh shit, is that good, huh?
I'll just say that like a number of times. The main one when I was in like that sort of age in college, early 20s, that I was approached a lot was Cutco. Cutco knives.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
and
that's the one I was approached.
And it was
about.
like, here's a fucking scissor that can cut through a penny, and as if that's something in my day to day I need, like. But yeah, that was a big.
We're not promoting defacing of federal currency, just for the record.
No, I am.
No. No.
Yeah, no, I got
Allegedly.
approached. I knew a guy or two that went the Cutco route, but it's funny because I remember like they both said the same thing to me, which was that, it's like, well, even if you don't take the job, their training is the best. If you want to go into sales, they have the best sales training you could ever ask for. So I don't know who told them that, but they both, independent of each other, repeated it to me, which I highly doubt that that's true.
The one guy who, because there were a couple of times I got called by recruiters where it was like, oh, we got your name from so-and-so, would you be interested in coming to come for a job interview? And there were occasional times when it was like I was so fucking broke and I had no money, or even when I was first out of college I was like looking for like some kind of long-term position and something I considered it until I took 5 seconds to look into it. But there was one time where somebody pitched me the knives. Like he wasn't trying to recruit me, he was actually trying to sell me the product. And And
Oh, wow.
I'll tell the full story another time, but for just for context, this guy was also super into Ron Paul. It was
boy.
2011 or something. So like his whole Cutco pitch was like intermingled with this pitch for Ron Paul and like peace revolution.
Hell yeah, dude.
Jesus
Which
Christ.
is really cool. Really,
No,
really
I love
cool.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like when I was researching this shit over the last 48 hours, something like that. I was like, this is kind of weird because I was also watching Mark Pentecost kind of give his pitch on this YouTube video. Actually, I didn't mention this, and nothing's going to come to fruition about this. But the YouTube channel that I found this video of Mark Pentecost talking was put on by a YouTube channel that was called like Wrap It with, and then some initials that I don't remember what it was. So it was somebody that was pitching that was like a distributor, a quote distributor of ItWorks, and it linked to her page. And I went to her page and I actually called her before this show to see if she would answer. And I asked for the name and she said, oh, they're not here or something like that. So I don't know if it was like her or something, but whatever. Anyway, but I was thinking about it because one of the things that Mark Pentecost talks about is like, why would you do something like this? And he says, maybe you want to make money to help pay off your mortgage, or maybe you want to take a vacation. And to me, it kind of like tells on itself in a capitalist context, because when they're explaining the reasons for you wanting to make more income, it's actually the things that your traditional job should do for you. Like one income for a household should be enough to allow you to live comfortably and be able to go on a vacation. And yet here we are fucking turning every single one of your remote acquaintances on Facebook into sales targets, which is insane and alienating. And it, exactly as you said, Shane, turning your social network and weaponizing it into a profit center, which is patently disgusting.
You know, interesting that there was a term that I saw crop up in looking at, particularly the people who left ItWorks, cold messaging. I guess as an extension of cold calling, like the cold calling sales tactic, you got a list of numbers, you're banging through them to try to sell or whatever. Cold messaging, I guess, is the same approach, but you go to everybody in your social network and send them a cold, just like a pre-fucking written block of text or whatever, to try to pitch them something, which, just on a base level, it must be awfully embarrassing to encounter that and to have to reckon with that and deal with that. And again, Chris, as you pointed out, I'm sure that those kinds of interactions are more likely to like fucking destroy whatever relationship you might have with, like, especially on Facebook, where I've been off of it for years, but I imagine for most people, you have all these tenuous connections with people that you met long ago or used to go to school with, or extended members of your family you don't really talk to. Imagine like reaching out to them or getting a message from one of them out of the blue. You haven't talked to them in 6 months, and right now there's a global fucking pandemic and they're trying to hawk like some kind of weird fucking Ziploc bag you put over your ears so you look like you're 20 years old or whatever the fuck it is.
It's deeply embarrassing.
Yeah, I just as you know, I just got back on Facebook myself for the first time in years, and prior to recording this, I was kind of searching around a little bit because I've got some suspicion for the exact type of person that is likely to get wrapped up in ItWorks. I suspect that a couple of people I'm friends with on Facebook are probably absolutely doing it, but I haven't been able to find any yet.
It's not good, folks.
It's not good, folks. It's very bad.
If you have been approached by somebody in your network who is either trying to recruit you into this or sell you one of their products, please reach out to Dwight. Tell them your entire story. The longer, the better.
He likes it.
Oh my
He
God.
really loves it.
He likes it.
So many DMs. It is kind of a nice. No, you know what? It's not nice.
Actually, you know what?
okay.
Actually, don't even send him stories. Just pitch him products. Just send him sales pitches for products.
Yes, please do.
Don't even DM him. Just like just reply to him directly on the timeline.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, no matter what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Just it's okay. Just
Please don't.
yeah.
Just want a haircut, man.
You look like you got a haircut.
Actually, if you wrapped your hair in the It's Wrap product, it would all fall out of your head. Probably. I don't know.
No, I didn't get a haircut. It's just it's just growing at such a feral rate that I'm just
good,
having
man.
this.
Looks good.
Thank you. You know, there was a time not too long ago, a few years ago, probably, like 3 years ago or so, where I just was fucking broke and I couldn't afford to have any haircuts.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, so I'm just like going back in that style where I just look like a fucking Russian composer from the 19th century. And
no, I mean that's it's kind of where I'm at.
It's retro though. It's a look. I'm okay with this.
Oh yeah, man.
You gotta, well, Eat the Rich is not wanting for hair. I suppose we could say that.
No, I'm never gonna go bald, man. I'm very happy about that. I'm pretty at this point, I'm pretty confident about that.
Do you remember there was that SNL skit with Phil Hartman that was like caveman lawyer or something?
Oh yeah, of course.
We're just all gonna emerge. All men are gonna emerge from the quarantine looking like this.
Yeah.
Unfrozen caveman lawyer. I believe
That's right.
was the name of it.
I'm just a scared, unfrozen caveman. I sound like Austin Powers. Why am I even trying?
Phil Hartman was so good, man. Fuck.
Rest in peace.
His Reagan was
tragic.
amazing. His Reagan was so fucking good.
So good.
Do you remember that one particular sketch, like the Ronald Reagan criminal mastermind?
Yes,
or whatever?
dude, it's so fucking good.
So
Yes.
good.
It's so
It was one of
good.
the best SNL sketches of all time, where like he's
He's acting like an idiot in front of.
He's acting like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
He's getting his picture taken with the Girl Scout who sold him those cookies or whatever, and then he rushes her out. I'm like, my fucking shit's already slowing down. Let me cut the video off. And then he rushes her out of the office, and then he brings everybody in, and he's like planning, directly planning the Iran Contra and all that sort of stuff. And then he's like he was speaking speaking Japanese or speaking Farsi or whatever on the telephone. Yeah. And then Jimmy Stewart comes to visit him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Don't make
right.
me have to kill you, Jimmy.
Such a good sketch. One of the all-time greats.
Another
favorite.
good one that came from that same era, which was right after the hearings, the Iran Contra hearings, and when they had like a press conference where Reagan was denying everything, and it's like a census taker comes to the Reagan house, and Ronald Reagan steps outside. He's like, "Yes, how can I help you?" And she starts asking you questions
like Mr. Burns.
So what's your name? He's like, "Well, I don't recall." And it's just the joke is that every question on the census, he's like, "I wasn't there at the time, so I can't make that call." It's so fucking good, dude.
Oh man, what a different time. And now it's somehow worse.
Yeah. We have a dumber Reagan. We have a dumber, stupider, less interesting media career Reagan.
Like perhaps even more
Fatter.
perhaps even more senile at this point, like in office.
Yeah.
You guys talking about Joe Biden?
Oh God, either one, man.
Dude,
Fucking Joe Biden, dude. What a disaster.
it's elder abuse at this point.
I honestly, I try to not even think about the primary or the fucking. Isn't fucking Wisconsin holding their primary today? Aren't they actually doing it?
Yeah, they're all poisoning each other.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my fucking plane ticket. I bought a plane ticket to represent Eat the Rich at the DNC in July.
That's right. Well, we were all going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
and what
that's
happened now?
That's out the window.
Oh, I'm still going.
I'm going to vacation in Milwaukee in July now.
I am very set on going there and shaking the DNC's chosen nominee by the hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Allegedly.
I'd like to shake him
It's a metaphor.
with my hand.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Why are you just don't be?
I
don't
thought
be
this was
scared.
America. I didn't realize we're in Soviet Russia. I can't go over and shake a man with my hand.
Shaking. Perhaps you've got to shake a man before seeing him in Milwaukee. Cut that.
No,
Don't
that
do-
stays
just do
in.
my
I don't
bad-
even know what that was a reference to.
My bad Bane.
Yeah, that's how bad it
yeah.
was, but keep it in. It's fine. It's fine.
What does he say?
I don't even know what the hell are you even talking about?
Oh, you know.
You never saw the Batman movies?
What was that impression? What was that a reference to?
Bane.
Forget it.
No.
Forget it.
No. What was it?
The opening scene of The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, I see. I thought that was Bane. Yeah.
Sounded like a dog eating a chew toy.
I want to get a Bane mask for coronavirus.
Oh, dude, I don't know if you saw, but I'm gonna get you.
I want to get a Bane mask to wear over my Joker makeup.
I found
meta.
these V for Vendetta masks that have like Joker makeup on them. I was gonna get you one.
Ooh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Be on the lookout in the mail.
Oh, really? You actually getting one?
That's the live show. When all this is over and we do a live show in Calgary or something, that's what we're going to be wearing.
We'll do a live show in the sanitized bunker on Little Bellicchio Island or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean about all over. This shit is this is the new normal, man. Shit's never going back to normal.
I just want to hang out with my Twitter friends, man. Is that so wrong?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty fucked up, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Turns out all the fun things to do involve hanging around with other people.
No, there's video games and movies. It's fine.
Stay tuned because your boy Dwight here has bought a Xbox, and although I found out I've sent
Should have got a PlayStation. Man.
Yeah, you should have gotten a PS4, dude.
What are you
well,
doing?
everyone fucking hindsight's 2020.
Wait, what games did you get?
I haven't bought any yet.
You're
assumed-
gonna get an Xbox in your house and like stand around like pensively looking at it like,
I assume I would cross that bridge when you come to it.
I want to start Twitch streaming, man. I'm really considering it.
I know, but nobody's seen my face, so I don't know what to do about that.
Nobody has to see your face, right?
They don't have to.
I want to do some get a good background or something like that, something to look at, so they don't see that I look like a 19th century Russian composer.
You should get
fucking Tchaikovsky.
You're like for your avatar on your Twitch thing, right? It should be like a rage comic face with like a top hat and a monocle, and you can be called like, Mr. Rhinoceros, the Uppertons,
Mr. Dap. What's his name? Mr. Dappington, Mr. Dapperton. What the hell's that?
This is Dwight Upperton.
Whatever you say, leftist.
Oh my god,
dude, that was so embarrassing, man.
We should cut it off here, man.
No, it's good. No, like speaking of like weird libertarians and shit, and video games, like I've been sending them to Shane, but I've been spending a lot of time, I've been playing Civ 6 a lot, and occasionally I'll have questions about strategy or something, so I'll Google it and I'll go on Reddit, and I found some like in discussions of Civilization 6, I found like some really funny epic Reddit guys. I found one, there was the discussion was about religion in Civilization 6, and I found one guy that was like, well, if you're like me, you make your own custom religion and you call it libertarianism.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And I found, what was the other one? The other guy, Shane, what was the other one I sent you? There was some other guy that just had to slip in the fact that he was an atheist. Into the discussion. It was like an epic fucking Reddit new atheist guy.
Yeah.
Libertarianism is a disease.
Oh, dude, once you dive deep into the online communities that surround strategy games, dude, that was one of the reasons that made me interested in doing the academic stuff that I do now, because you peel away a couple of layers and you find people who are straight up fucking LARPing as Nazis while playing strategy games, dude. So many of them, even with a pretty fucking PG kind of game as Civilization, where 5 out of 6 victory conditions are get a lot of science, or make great works of art. There's still people who are why isn't there a genocide button in this game? Why can't I fucking be Hitler in this game? It's really some weird shit, dude. There are people who mod in Hitler into Civ 6 and stuff, and they're I want to be able to play as Hitler with the swastika as my flag, otherwise this is not a historical reenactment game. For Civilization, the game where you make trade routes between city-states.
I mean, that's absolutely is not surprising.
This is why I don't fucking game. This is why I don't game. I don't want to participate in any of this.
It's so funny to me that you bought an Xbox. How long ago did you buy the Xbox? That you bought an Xbox and you didn't buy any games with it at the same time?
Let's see. It must have been yesterday or the day before, something like that.
Dwight, you need to hurry up and have children so they can figure out the goddamn game system for you.
I'm just gonna get my brain splattered all over the fucking pixelated terrain.
What do
That's
you
what's gonna happen.
what do you want to play, Dwight? What kind of games are you thinking?
Oh, I like racing games.
Oh, do you? I hate racing games.
I love racing games. I
Really?
love, competition and feeling extremely tense at all times.
You should get one of those like special like steering wheel controllers.
I looked into it. Turns out they're quite expensive.
Yeah, they are. I know they are.
Turns out they're extremely expensive. I did look into it, and I'm gonna just use. This is why people need to contribute to our Patreon. So good old Dwighty Poo here can fucking start racing sports sedans from the 1980s. Is that so much to ask? Are we still recording?
We need to stop.
We are.
This is done.
No, we don't.
This
is
over.
You need to get.
We're at 2 hours.
Wait,
too much. Stay cool, folks.
Is Red Dead
Stay cool,
Red
folks.
Dead
Stay
Redemption
cool.
2 for Xbox? Do they have it for Xbox? Or Red Dead?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what? It's a
Shane?
really great game they have for Xbox.
What's that?
Stay cool, folks.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
There you go.
There we go.
I heard there was a secret train people take and made me think that I should try to know more about it. They say it will alkalize and also detoxify.